Hello guys, welcome back. My name is Nathan and today I'm going to be doing another 2020 NHL mock draft, this time though with the new draft lottery format. Now the 2020 NHL playoffs and draft lottery systems have been officially finalized, so now we get a good idea of how the draft lottery is going to work and the potential order that might happen for the 2020 NHL draft. So with this month's draft lottery, what will the order end up looking like, and will we see a qualifying round team get inside the top 3 this time around? Watch till the end for the order and my picks. And of course, hit that big red subscribe button for more videos just like this one.
So this is the draft order we're going to be working with today. Firstly, I have the Detroit Red Wings at number 1. We've had no simulations so far where Detroit actually gets the first overall pick, so I thought I'd from a bone, give them the easy pick there. Then Ottawa selects number 2, and then number 3, we have a qualifying team ball. So that means we'll be going through a second lottery. I went through wheel to side, basically put all the teams that I think are going to lose in the qualifying round in this lottery wheel to see who gets third overall. You have Florida, Minnesota, Columbus, Calgary, Montreal, Chicago, Carolina, and the Arizona Coyotes. So we're going to spin the wheel, see who gets the third overall pick, and the Chicago Blackhawks, once again, even though I hate it, will pick top 3.
Now, starting off with this new 2020 NHL mock draft simulation, the Detroit Red Wings come in with the first overall pick, and not surprisingly, I think they will select Alexis Lafreniere. There was a rumor out there they could maybe select Tim Stutzle, but I think Lafreniere is the obvious choice for them, and that is who they will pick. I think it is the obvious pick for them, but it is the correct one. So good in the QMJHL, so good in the World Juniors, and I think for Detroit will be an impact player as soon as next season. Now getting into the second overall pick with these guys, the Ottawa Senators, and there is a lot of different options here for Ottawa, but in the end, I think they do select Quinton Byfield. I think this is honestly the perfect player for them. You slot him with freaking Brady Tkachuk, and on top of scoring a bunch of points and being great defensively, I think both of those two are also going to be painful to play against. I think for future Ottawa Senators, Byfield will be amazing. You have the 4th overall pick as well, so you take the high potential option, which is 100% Byfield at number 2. Now getting into the 3rd overall pick with the Chicago Blackhawks, and I somehow forgot to mention that, yeah, all the teams that I had in the wheel to side were the teams that I think would lose in the qualifying round, and Chicago is a team that I think will lose to Edmonton, but they'll get that 3rd overall pick because the freaking Chicago Blackhawks just love to get lottery wins because that's just what they do. At 3rd overall, though, there is a lot of options, but I think in the end they select German center/winger Tim Stutzle. Now, a lot of people out there are assuming that Tim Stutzle will be a center, and I think it's kind of 50-50. He can play a lot of wing, he can play center as well, but I think his more natural fit is on wing, which is perfect for Chicago. I think he can play on both sides potentially, and that's a guy that you mold alongside Alex DeBrincat and Patrick Kane on the wing side. That's not bad whatsoever, and just like Alexis Lafreniere, could potentially have a big impact next season for Chicago. Now getting into the 4th overall pick with the Ottawa Senators with the San Jose pick, and at this spot I think they run up to the stage to select Jamie Drysdale. Now it's a different story if maybe Ottawa picks 2nd and 3rd. I'm not quite convinced that Drysdale will be the pick at number 3, but if they go into number 4, I think Drysdale will be an excellent option for them. I think can be a number 1 guy you have on that defense alongside Brandstrom and so many other solid defensemen. I think that's a defense core that can just be so good, and you have Drysdale learning from a guy like Thomas Chabot, which is not bad whatsoever. I think for Ottawa, obviously getting a cornerstone defenseman like this would be absolutely huge. Then they get the forward side of things too. You get Quinton Byfield on center and Jamie Drysdale on defenseman. Not bad inside the top 5. Now getting into the 5th pick with the LA Kings, and the LA Kings are easily one of the most interesting teams here because yes, they don't really need a center, but they could go all over the spectrum here. I think if they go to number 7 or number 6, Jake Sanderson might just be the pick, but at number 5, I think they go for a winger, and that winger will be Lucas Raymond. Now it really does all depend on LA, because if he isn't picked there, I could see Lucas Raymond dropping to like number 8 or even number 9, which I don't agree with whatsoever, but is a potential thing there. For LA, I think it is between Lucas Raymond and Jake Sanderson, but Lucas Raymond just provides so much offensive potential that LA doesn't quite have in their prospect pool right now. Then getting into the 6th overall pick with the Anaheim Ducks, and this one is a pretty easy one, I would say, for them. They end up selecting Austrian stud Marco Rossi. I think Marco Rossi would likely be the best pick here, and a guy that for Anaheim would just be so freaking nasty. They might need a guy more like a Jamie Drysdale in terms of just pure team need, but Marco Rossi sets up a top 2 center core of him and Trevor Zegras, and if you are absolutely drooling over that top 2 center core, I'm not sure what's going to get you, because that is absolutely nasty. And now to the 7th overall pick with the New Jersey Devils, and I think this is where American defenseman Jake Sanderson lands. I remember a couple of months ago I said that Jake Sanderson, if he went 7th overall New Jersey, I wouldn't be too surprised by that. And I saw lots of Devils fans saying that it wasn't going to happen. And personally, I don't think it should happen. I have Jake Sanderson outside my top 15, but I would not be surprised whatsoever if Jake Sanderson is a top 8 pick in this draft, and I don't think anybody at this point would be. He's a brilliant two-way guy with great defensive ability, and a guy that can be a good, solid top 4 defenseman. And now going on to the Buffalo Sabres, and for me, for the Sabres, at number 8, it's between right now Alexander Holtz and Cole Perfetti, and it's a very, very close race, and it does depend who is actually available, but I'm actually going to go for a different pick this time around, and I think the Buffalo Sabres will select Alexander Holtz. Now this is kind of raining in the Habs parade right now, because I think they would probably take him if available, but Alexander Holtz is a brilliant sniper, and I think maybe the best goal scorer of the draft throughout this draft year. Has been so good, and I think for the Buffalo Sabres, you have him alongside Jack Eichel, and I'm just saying, that is a perfect fit. And then on to the Montreal Canadiens with the 9th overall pick, and at this spot, they don't exactly get a perfect fit, but I think Cole Perfetti is pretty much the closest you can get. And getting him at 9th overall, it's not bad whatsoever. For the Montreal Canadiens, Cole Perfetti is a guy that is such a brilliant playmaker with a bursting shot as well, and I think would be a pretty good fit for the Habs. He can be a center, but he also can be a left winger as well, which for the Montreal Canadiens is one position I expect they'll target in this draft. Now coming in with the 10th overall pick is the New Jersey Devils from the Arizona Coyotes, and at this spot, I think they select their goal scorer, Jack Quinn. Now, getting Jake Sanderson, number 7, that gets a big shutdown guy on that top 4. But then you get Jack Quinn, who just alongside a guy like Jack Hughes would be an insane fit. In my opinion, Jack Quinn is the 2nd best goal scorer of this draft, and alongside a great playmaking center in the top 6, I think he's 100% going to fry. Now getting into the Minnesota Wild pick at the 11th overall spot, and with this one, I think they select center Connor Zary. Now, personally, I think Anton Lundell will be the perfect fit for the Minnesota Wild, but Connor Zary is a guy that is very interesting when it comes to NHL teams. He offers a lot, very solid two-way guy who's pretty intelligent as well, but personally, I don't really see him being much more than a middle 6 at best center in the league. And I think for the Minnesota Wild, they'll see it differently. They'll see his tools, draft number 11th. I think he'll be a solid NHL player, but if you're expecting a first-line guy out of him, I personally just don't see that happening. Now on to the 12th overall pick with the Calgary Flames, and at this spot, after getting upset by the Winnipeg Jets in my prediction, I think they'll select QMJHLer Dawson Mercer. Now Dawson Mercer I think would be a wonderful fit for the Calgary Flames, although I think they could also go for a center here. I think they want to fill out their wings and get a guy that is a supreme all-around offensive mind. Brilliantly intelligent, solid skating, and a guy that just in terms of the raw tools he has offensively, I think can be a top 6 guy. Away from the puck, I think there's still some things to be worked out, but for the Calgary Flames, being more of an offensive team, I think Mercer alongside a guy like a Sean Monahan or Johnny Gaudreau, I think would fit right in. Now getting on to the 13th overall pick and the Florida Panthers, and I think they will select their rugged defenseman type, that being Kaiden Guhle. Great size, solid defensive ability. I think Florida's going to be totally attracted to him as a guy that could be a top 6 shutdown player. I personally don't even have him in my top 31, but I can see where the value comes from. I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed. Then on to the 14th overall pick for the Columbus Blue Jackets, and finally, this is where Anton Lundell will get his shine. I see him as a top 10 prospect, but he's kind of a guy that can go all over the place, and if he even ends up outside the top 15, I would sadly not be too surprised, but I think he is a perfect fit for the Columbus Blue Jackets, a guy that will be a pretty much perfectly fitting second line center behind Pierre-Luc Dubois, a guy that can shut it down in all areas of the ice, is so intelligent positionally, and a guy that I think can reach upwards of 70 points in the NHL level. That's a guy that for Columbus getting 14th overall would be absolutely mega value. Now on to the 15th overall pick, and with the Canes pick, I think they will select Russian, Rodion, and Murov. And I think Murov is honestly the perfect fit for Carolina. They are not afraid to take European players, and it's been evident over the past couple of years, really starting to pay dividends. And I think Murov will be a great player. Amazing two-way ability with some sneaky intelligence and upside. That's a player that you could have on the second line left wing right below Andrei Svechnikov, a guy that can check, do everything for you, and pretty much be the perfect second liner on any NHL team. But that'll be it for today's 2020 NHL Draft Simulation. Thanks so much for watching. If you guys did enjoy, make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and hit that notification bell if you haven't already. Let me know down in the comments what you agree and disagree with my top 15 picks and what prospects you see going where. Of course, with this video, make sure you share it, get it out there, boys, and click on this card right here to watch all of my hockey rankings videos right in one playlist. My name is Nathan, and I'll see you guys next video or stream. Goodbye.